Welcome to the New York Outlook for Friday, the 2nd of February 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar, today is quite a high impact significant news event for the US session, given that we have a NFP news release approximately 30 minutes into the US session. Having said that, I don't advise you to take any trades until the news release comes out. After the news release, you can fade you can fade the news release accordingly, or if there's too much volatility, just stay out and call it a day. Starting on the 4 hour, building on from the London outlook, nothing significant has changed since that outlook. We're still continuing to move somewhat to the upside, and that's expected given that we took all this liquidity. The Proton unconfirmed will be right here, and this primary Proton unconfirmed OB that was built as a result of weakening this OB. All have achieved of its objectives. The Proton unconfirmed OB has taken out the substructure, and then we built this primary Proton unconfirmed OB, which has then swept this substructure right here. Given that they have achieved their targets, well, at least the reactions to these OBs have achieved their targets. There isn't reason to short until we reach back inside this Proton unconfirmed OB. That is the unmitigated area right here that you can see right there. So until we actually sweep this area, there's actually no reason to short, because all the short reactions have achieved their objective, which only means that we have reasons to long for today based on this underlying reaction and the secondary leg that was developed on the 15-5 and perhaps even the 30-minute, with the ultimate objective being to take out the substructure high. So having said that, we'll quickly glance at what happened in the London session. Like I said, there is only reason to trade long until we actually take out the substructure. The issue I had with longs was the fact that all the IRL was pretty much going to be taken out, with this being the last piece of IRL before the actual target. So I was wary that if we were to extend the leg in the current day, then it was going to take the last IRL point out, and that's precisely what it did, which then meant when price came back into this 4H S&D flip right here. The S&D flip is a result of a 5-minute unmitigated OB, which was then reacted to here and then built upon until we got to this OB right here. I anchored the fib to the extreme and the current low, pre-Asia low of the day that was validated, as you can see, in Asia and London. So this is a validated low of the day that is anticipated to hold. However, NFP can change things. Having said all of that, it essentially meant that because we took out the last IRL point, we needed the 5-minute to develop additional IRL before we could take any further trades. Unfortunately, what you can see is that there was, while there was some IRL built, in order to validate it, we had to break this structure, and by the time we did that, it was a bit too late to actually get into another trade. And now that we're in the lull, it's really a bad idea to get into any trades, because you're unlikely to get much of a movement before NFP. So having said all of that, what is the plan of action for New York session? Well, my only option really, I guess, sorry, I just want to see some. Okay, so my only option for the New York session is actually for price to come, take the substructure high, thus invalidating any further long positions, and then we can look to build a short new primary leg based on the unmitigated area of this Proton unconfirmed, or reaching this Proton unconfirmed extreme, and then we've got reasons to trade short or to the downside, at least temporarily. Having said that, we'll also need NFP to, I guess what I'm hoping for is that NFP news is positive for the USD, supporting a short GBPUSD. However, I'm hoping that the news release itself will spike up sufficiently, whilst also creating some bit of PA to allow us to validate a New York high of the day being created, after which we'll take a short. And once we take that short, then everything should line up quite nicely, because we'll have longs achieving its target, so no reason for longs to continue in the long direction. And now we've got only one direction to trade, given that we only have this for HOB backing with this one, at least until a new primary protein previously confirmed OB is validated if we get this body break. So that's pretty much my bias. Just to summarize, I'll be looking only for shorts because I believe that the long narrative has played out and there isn't really a way to get into any long trades favorably, that is, given that there's no further IRL unless we pull down quite significantly, maybe somewhere towards this area right here, in which case maybe the New York session or the late New York news, the 5 p.m. news, will support a New York low of the day, in which case we can then build a narrative for longs because there'll be all this IRL that would build on the 5 minute, and then we can validate it and perhaps take an entry. However, I see that being as somewhat of a secondary idea, with my primary idea being short. But again, I'll only short after we take this level out, and in terms of the secondary idea, I'll only consider longs from this POI area right here, as it belongs to the previous high low of the day, um, and it can be accurately validated. So those are my ideas for the day. I didn't take any trades for London. Trade safe, and we'll chat again for the end of day review.